Hey everybody, Jeff with the Grand Lake Outdoor Report. As always, thanks for listening. Hey, it is springtime out there and there is a lot of people out fishing right now. A lot of people posting pictures of fish over at the grandfishingreport.com Facebook group, and it's always exciting to see all the anglers that travel in from around the country to fish Grand Lake, plus the local folks. Man, there's just a lot of activity going on right now, which, that usually happens. Well, once we get into April and those crappies start getting closer to the bank and the bass get up there and white bass get in the rivers and the paddlefish get going, the catfish get shallow, there's a lot of people out chasing them. And there's a lot of people catching fish right now, too. I heard some reports of some people that did really well on crappie and white bass up in the Spring River area. I saw some pictures on Grand Fishing Report Facebook group about people that were snagging paddlefish in Miami last week, but I didn't really think the water had got up high enough for the paddlefish to move up there, and I know it didn't get very high, and I don't think the amount of rain that we've got going on today and tomorrow is going to be enough to really move the paddlefish big time up to Miami. It might stir the water up some, but it might bring a few up there, but we still haven't had a very big inflow in Grand Lake this year. Consider it here being towards the middle of April. Years past, sometimes we get big floods in February and March, but there's no doubt April showers can bring May flowers and a lot of muddy water to Grand Lake over the years, for sure. So anything can happen here as we move toward the end of the month. The bass are getting close to getting on the banks. The crappie are getting close to getting on the banks. I'm sure that there are people catching crappie on the banks now in areas. I think that evening time, fishing a jig and a bobber, a little lucky bug under a little float would be a great way to try to catch fish. Swimming minnow, go-go minnow, both of those tremendous lures for going out and catching fish. Spawning crappie on the bank, and if you don't have very much time to fish or you're at work, don't be afraid to fish in the evening. A lot of times those crappie, and especially those big females, will move up closer to the bank as we get a little bit closer to dark. And there's a lot of people that continue to catch, they continue to catch crappie after dark, spawning crappie after dark right on the bank. And you might want to get you a lighted bobber, or one of my favorite things to do is fish in areas where you've got a yard light or a street light, some kind of a light that you can just kind of silhouette your bobber out there in the water, and you'd be surprised just casting out and reeling in 12 to 24 inches of water, 1 to 3 foot of water, something like that, how many crappie that you can actually catch at night. It's a great way to target fish. My son, Hayden with Williams Guide Service, he's told me that he just really hasn't got on the spawning crappie yet. He's winding up some spoonbill trips. He's been going down to the below Hudson towards Fort Gibson, and he's been doing some spoonbill snagging down there. And he's had some clients that wanted to go in that area down there. So he's kind of winding up a few trips in that area. And I've been seeing some reports on some great catfish and great bass being caught around the lake. I can't really speculate on what the bass guys are using right now, but I know that the catfish are being caught on all kinds of cut bait. Big chunks of gizzard shad are awful hard to beat, and I'm assuming that most of those catfish are being caught in water from a foot to 10 foot deep. Usually, when we get into April and May, The blues and the channels and the flatheads all move shallow. And some of my very best flathead fishing that I've had in my life over the years has been the last 2 weeks of April and the first 2 weeks of May, when you get a rise. And you cannot believe how good the flathead fishing is in locations. Set out, 3 or 4 rods with some live bait and fish shallow and fish around some structure. But boy, you better be hanging on, because at Grand Lake, there's a lot of flatheads between 15 and 30 pounds. And there's definitely flatheads that are bigger than that in Grand Lake. But there's an abundance of flatheads between 15 and 30 pounds. And boy, they don't mess around. Once you get a hook in them, you better be ready. It's not like channel cat fishing. You just never know what you're going to catch on a big old live bait that's swimming around out there. And there's lots of places to do that around Grand Lake. But just remember that when the water's coming up, the last couple weeks of April and the first couple weeks of May, there's a great chance to go out and catch flatheads during the day, big blue cats during the day, and you'll be surprised what you can tangle with out there sometimes. But the fishing's going to be good. We got a little bit of rain coming in maybe toward the beginning of next week, but I'll look for the water to pretty well stay down and clear unless we get something really unexpected out of these rain showers today and tomorrow. I look for the water to mainly stay down and clear and warm enough to really push the crappie up to the banks. April 10th has always been my target day to really see a lot of crappie moving to the bank. So, here we are about April 10th every year. It seems like this is the time of the year from now till the end of April is when you can really go out and get them. Hey, I'm Jeff, and I hope everybody has good luck out there. We'll talk to you next week.